Let me tell you something. Nobody wants to admit saying no is one of the hardest, most powerful things you can do. We're taught to play nice, shake hands, sign the deal, keep the peace. But sometimes the smartest move you'll ever make is to walk away. And that's exactly what India just did. Picture this. One of the world's biggest democracies sitting across the table from the most powerful economy on earth, papers on the table, billions on the line, and India says no thanks. Not because it's reckless, but because it's ready. This isn't just a headline, this is history. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly why India's decision to walk away from a US trade deal is a bold, brilliant, world-shifting move and why it matters more than you think. Let's dive in. Most people assume that when a country like the United States comes knocking with a trade deal, you say yes. You don't question it because it's America, but India just did calmly, firmly, without drama. Why? Because it understood something powerful. Not every opportunity is worth the cost. The deal looked good on the surface, access to US tech, investment markets. But buried in the fine print were demands open Indian agriculture to US agribusiness, relaxed data privacy laws, reduced tariffs that protect millions of Indian jobs. That's not partnership, that's pressure. India said no. Not to growth, but to surrender. This was leadership, not ego. Sovereignty, not subservience. In a world that pushes you to say yes, walking away can be the strongest move you make. Trade deals aren't just about goods, money, and exports. They're about leverage, control, and influence. This U.S. deal wasn't just about reducing tariffs or improving trade flows. It was a quiet power play, one that tilted the balance heavily in America's favor. The U.S. wanted India to open up digital platforms, weaken data laws, and relax controls for American pharma tech and agri giants, all under the guise of free trade. But India saw it for what it was, an attempt to rewrite the rules of India's economy from the outside in. India refused to be swayed by short-term benefits that could lead to long-term dependence. That isn't just smart economics, that's national strength. This wasn't just political, it was ideological. On one side, the US wanted open markets and fewer restrictions for its corporations. On the other, India stood with its Make in India mission, focused on local strength, domestic manufacturing, and reduced foreign dependency. The US wanted access, India wanted self-sufficiency. That's why they couldn't meet in the middle. India refused to abandon its small businesses, farmers, and growing tech industry to fit America's goals. And that refusal marked a shift in the global order. India said, we'll trade, but not at the cost of our own future. India didn't just walk away from a deal. It made a global statement: we're not participating, we're leading. For years, India was seen as a rising market, but this moment changed everything. Only strong nations say no to powerful ones. India chose long-term vision over short-term applause. It refused unfair compromises and sent a message to the world: we're not desperate, we're deliberate, not passive, powerful. This isn't anti-America, it's pro-India. It's about setting boundaries and playing the long game. This wasn't just about India and the US, it was a wake-up call for the whole developing world. For too long, smaller economies have signed lopsided deals out of fear or pressure. But now they've seen another path. India's decision says you don't have to say yes to survive. You can stand up, negotiate harder, and demand fairness. This is psychological empowerment, and it changes the equation. The world isn't just watching, it's learning. India didn't close a door. It opened 100 more. India didn't walk away out of pride. It walked away out of belief in its own industries, its own people, its own future. This is about self-reliance, not isolation. It's about supporting Indian coders, farmers, entrepreneurs, not just foreign corporations. That's strategy. And when a nation of this size bets on itself, the world notices. India isn't just a country, it's a civilization. A land of zero and yoga, of philosophy and peace. It has risen from colonial chains to launching satellites and building code. Today's India isn't asking for a seat at the table. It's building its own. It's not waiting to be lifted. It's rising on its own terms. This is the land of 1.4 billion voices, diverse, determined, and united by purpose. So let's be clear. India's walkaway wasn't a tantrum. It was a power move, because real strength isn't always about saying yes. Sometimes the boldest thing you can do is say no to the wrong deal and yes to yourself. India didn't chase approval. It chose its path, its terms, its future, and that's the story the world needs to hear. If this gave you a new perspective on India's bold move, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more powerful insights on global shifts that actually matter. This isn't just news. This is the new world order, and you deserve to understand it